Welcome back to MT's Corner with Myesha-Tiara, where we discuss everything involving acting. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be there every single time I post a new video. Hey y'all, your girl is back and I have a bit of a new format for this video today. So tune in, look at it, and let me know what you think. The Emmys are premiering Sunday, September 20th, and when the nominations came out, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the tweets on John Leguizamo, Dasha Polanka, and the Los Angeles Times article. I wanted to address the issues between Black and brown people in the entertainment industry. However, I wanted to do so in an open forum way with another artist from the other side. I brought in Ruben Baby Horchata Ramirez, who is a comedian, actor, public speaker, and writer. We've done previous projects together, acting-wise, in a few films and TV shows, so I'm so excited to have him here with me today. And I brought him into MT's Corners to get down to the bottom of it and see where we can go from here. I hope you all enjoyed this open forum interview, and let me know below if there are any other topics you would like me to discuss in this way in the future. Enjoy. I wanted to start a new series on my YouTube channel called Let's Talk About It, where we talk about controversial topics in the acting world. And the first thing I thought about was the Brown versus Black Emmy nomination. Now, for those of you that do not know, the Emmy nominations came out sometime last week. I have my own personal feelings about award shows in general, and we'll get into that. But there was a lot of Black representation. However, there were, and honestly, because I am Black, automatically, I was just like, okay, cool for them. I'm happy for them. However, I went on Twitter, and of course, Twitter's always ready with the Twitter fingers. And there were some controversial tweets that were made by Dasha Polanco and John Leguizamo, and that started a whole nother conversation that turned into a Brown versus Black conversation, which happens a lot, believe it or not, in different facets of our world here. However, for those of you that are new to my channel centers around actors and predominantly Black actors and their experiences, whether it's a triumph or a big issue that happens. And I thought that this was important because I wanted to know from the other side what their views are on what's happening and whether there is a derailment in how support goes. So for myself, I would just say who I am and what I do. Besides YouTube, I am an actress in Chicago. I'm based out of Chicago, but I act anywhere. I'm also a director, and I own my own theater company. It's called Perceptions Theatre. So go check us out, www.perceptionstheatre.org. Shameless plug, I don't care. And I identify as a Black woman. I'm a darker skinned Black woman. I identify as either African American or ADOS. And for you, those of you that are like, what are all these acronyms that come up every 5 minutes? That's African descendant of slavery. And I have no issue with that because as far as I know with my lineage, I have to go take a DNA test, of course. But what I do know is that my family, we are from Louisiana, and that's where I'm from. I've been in Chicago for about 3 years now. And my family's lineage from Louisiana, they were slaves and sharecroppers there. And from my understanding, most of the Africans that were taken from West Africa, a lot of them ended up in the southern part of the US. So that's why I'm assuming that I'm from. Of course, I'll take a DNA test and it may tell me I ain't from there at all. But as of right now, that's where I am and that's how I identify. Now, I will let my guests speak about who they are, what they do, and how they identify. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ruben Baby Horchata Ramirez. I'm an actor, comedian, director, writer, behind the scenes photographer, DJ, a little bit of everything. Got my hands in many hats. And I identify as a Mexican. I don't really, I'm not as connected as Myesha is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just Mexican for now, at least until I do a test. And I think I got some Spaniard in me too. But what she was speaking about, though, man, she's not lying. There's so many conversations on this Brown versus Black, and I actually did a video about a month ago.
Yeah, you did.
Discussing it, and it's I think it's important for my generation to identify it, to kill it off, because it's always the older generation in this essence when it comes to a lot of the Black versus Brown. And what she's saying, Twitter, it's crazy that how quick something develop. You know what I'm saying? And I'm and I don't want to do that. Like as you see, I'm an ally. Myesha knows I'm an ally to the end of it. You know what I'm saying? I stand up for my black homies all the time, and like I feel like I gotta protect them. You know what I'm saying? In that essence, because they're very targeted in many situations, and we go through a lot of similar battles, which is when these things come up, it's time to shoot it down, and it's like, how? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like you're fighting an uphill battle because each side does have some valid points. However, it's just, it gets so muddled at times, and certain things that shouldn't even be an issue turn into an issue. Like this whole black versus brown Emmy thing. I was like, why was this the issue? Why did this turn into an issue between us? Like, what is that? What is your stance on award shows?
So award shows are, I think they're just participation trophies. In this instance, like, I mean, if we're gonna go even just acting or even in music, I mean, we all know that Drake's gonna take home every award because of his name and, you know what I'm saying, how he established himself. There's so much underground talent that doesn't get the recognition they deserve. So award shows, they're cool. I mean, do I want to win some awards? Of course, but it's not everything. You know what I'm saying? I think it's popularity contest is too.
Oh, for my stance, I have a similar stance. I think I saw Denzel do an interview back in my undergraduate days, and I was in a theater major, and so of course we're thinking about like, oh, okay, because we had our own, we created our own Tony Awards as well at my college. So now we starting the pressure of getting an award in college with children who are like 18 to 21 years old, fighting each other for some plastic trophy. Oh, and I think he ended up saying something like, it doesn't matter how many awards you win, it matters the quality of your work, not the quantity. So if no one remembers your work, who cares how many awards you won if no one even cares about what you actually created? And so that's the kind of stance that I take. I think award shows can be rigged at times because some of these award shows you vote in. I think Emmys is one as well that they vote on. There's like a panel of people who vote about who gets nominated, and a lot of times the people that are on these panels, they're very white. Some of them, they're starting to make strides in including people of color and well, the whole acronym of BIPOC, that's Black, Indigenous, People of Color, including them in these rooms so that they're able to also cast their vote, because why should it only be white people casting their vote for award shows when our shows in America are made up of more than just white people? However, I am not upset when I see them exclude any of us, because I expect it for the simple fact that these award shows were created for white people. And there's many people in history who've had to even fight to be able to be at an award show. Somebody that comes to mind right away is Hattie Mcdaniel, who was the first Black woman to win an Oscar, and first Black person, period. And they didn't even broadcast her winning it. Also, she wasn't even allowed to write her own speech. So the speech that she's presented was a speech that someone else wrote. She wasn't allowed to be in the room. They had her like way in the back somewhere in the back table. It's crazy. You're like, oh, okay, yay, we gave you a trophy. Look at that. We gave a Black person a trophy, but you treated her like not human the entire process of it. So for me, I'm not a huge fan of award shows. However, I do appreciate the ones that are centered around people's ethnicity. So like there's BET Awards, there's like the NAACP Awards for Black people. There's a lot of different like award shows that other Black people give themselves. And sometimes political things can happen in there, but I do notice in those award shows, in some instances, they give awards to people who are clearly overlooked. Like you said, though, there's underground artists that people don't see, and a lot of these big award shows, they will never see it. So I do have a question for you. Do Mexican people have their own award shows that they broadcast in America? Or do you
yeah, it's on Univision or Telemundo. Yeah, they do plenty of that. They got the Latin Grammys, they got the Latin Music Awards. No, they definitely have on that essence, yeah.
Do you know if they have any ones involving acting?
You know what? I think even in the Latin Grammys, they have a small portion that is to actors. But I'd have to research that. I don't think I've ever seen an acting ceremony for Mexicans or Latinos at all. But
me either. And I know about the NAACP awards and the BET awards because like Black people mention it a lot. And so just my other Hispanic and Latinx actors that I know, they don't ever mention to me about these other award shows. Like I know about the Latin Grammys, but yeah, I never hear about any of these other awards.
No.
What was your reaction to the Emmy nomination list?
Oh my God. So I'm a big Don Cheadle fan, and he got a nomination. You know what I'm saying? So
for Black Monday, Black Monday, my show. Have you seen that?
I haven't, but
you gotta watch it. It is a crazy ride.
So I know, but I saw Don Cheadle. I was like, oh, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I love him. Period. You know what I'm saying? Just from his Marvel adventures, but not just that. He pops up in Kevin Hart's stand-up comedy skits before. You know what I'm saying? Like Don Cheadle's a man. In Hotel Rwanda, you know what I'm saying? Like them joints were, you know what I'm saying? He did. So when I saw him, I was like, all right, cool, that's dope. And even then though, like you know what I'm saying, like Afro-Latinas, you know what I'm saying? I was looking for Tessa Thompson. She's half Mexican, half black, or half Mexican, half European, and quarter black, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but she is considered Afro-Latina. You know, and then I was super surprised when I saw the guy from Panamanian. He was in The Mandalorian. He wasn't in, you know what I'm saying? And as big as The Mandalorian was, how revolutionary that show has been for Disney Plus, seeing those, I was like, you know what, what's going on? Like, it's not like we don't got talent out there. Orange is the New Black has many Latino actors, and as big as that show is, you know, like I said, and then once again, when I didn't see the guy on Mandalorian on it, and you know, like I feel good for you guys. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You guys, you got ballot wise, you guys were across, you know what I'm saying, across the board. That was dope, but it was upsetting when there was just no representation whatsoever. And it's kind of like a slap in the face, like we're not out there. Because statistically in 2017, Latinos only made up about 1.7%, or, you know, some really, and no, you know what? And it was 1.7% shared with Asian actors. So we probably have it, you know what I'm saying? It was shared, that percentage. And it's not like we're not out there. Yeah, when I saw the nominations, I was happy for my homies, but for our end, it's like, what's up, you know?
I'll say when I saw it, I wasn't surprised. I may have an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna share it because
go ahead.
The whole point. I wasn't surprised because I expected it because of the climate of the times at the moment, with the whole Black Lives Matter and the police brutality, and people really just speaking out about, you know, hey, how about we not kill us today for a traffic stop? You know what I'm saying? Or, hey, how about you not come to my house without a warrant and just break in at 2:00 in the morning throwing tear gas? So we're fighting to be alive at this point in time, which we've always been fighting to be alive.
Yeah.
This is a new fight. This is a continuous fight. And so when I saw the nominations, because of the climate of the times, I'm like, of course you nominated all those people, because if you hadn't, it'd have looked even worse on your end. So to me, even though I think everyone, all the Black people who are nominated, I think they're amazing, they're wonderful, they work their butt off, they're talented folks. However, I question whether they would have, even all of those Black people would have been nominated had Black Lives Matter not happened over this summer. There's no guarantee those people would have even been there, I feel. Because a lot of times I feel like they do things to placate us. And be like, here, see, we gave you nominations. But nominations don't mean anything if you don't actually win nothing. Yeah. And even still, there are people who are Black people who win awards that don't really work still. They really are still only being hired by other Black directors and production companies. So that's why a lot of times I don't get too excited when I see these nominations. Like, yeah, and I'm very happy for the amount of representation, over 32 people in acting alone. And I was just like, okay, I see y'all. But I did think, well, of course you would. At the height of the climate right now, and how Black people are, is we always speak up. We are very loud about our transgressions. And that's just how we've been since, as far as America goes, since slavery. Like, hey, I'm upset. It's a problem. If you're not gonna fix it, I'm gonna keep talking about it, and I'm gonna keep talking about it until somebody does at least a little bit of something. Yeah. So, like, and I think that we always speak out a lot, and so I think that is another reason why there was those nominations. But I will say, because I know you said you didn't see anyone, I actually looked it up, and I'll name you. Granted, it's not like I'm about to name you like 500 people. I'm about to name you like 3. Lupita, of course, Lupita is Mexican, but she's also, because she's born in Mexico, that's where she's from, but she's African, and so So she was nominated, but also she was nominated for Outstanding Narrator. So they, they didn't even see her on screen. She is narrating, which is great. But I also feel like I appreciate Jordan Peele for having her working, and the people who actually put her on screen as herself. Yeah. Because I noticed after she won her Oscar, I did start to feel a type of way, because I started to see that people were giving her a lot of voiceover work. Yeah. And they weren't giving her screen time. And I was like, this woman sat here and got whipped on national TV and got raped on national TV, and you don't have no work for her where she could show her face? But okay. So she was nominated for Outstanding Narrator. There's a Afro-Latina, her name is Nadia Hallgren, and she was nominated for documentary and cinematography for Becoming, which is a Michelle Obama thing.
Okay.
And there was also a lady, she's a Latinx, her name is Alex Beldel, and excuse me if I'm mispronouncing her name. And she's white Latinx, and her grandfather is Argentinian. And she was nominated. And also Linda Mendoza, who's a Mexican American. Oh, first Mexican, and I think the only one nominated for Outstanding Directing for a variety series, which was for Tiffany Haddish's stand-up event, They Ready, on Netflix. And that's it. But also those categories are like, even not the categories even being small, it's only 4 people. And then on top of that is subcategories, because one lady, her, not that it doesn't matter your heritage, but like her grandfather's Argentinian. So it's it's not like she's full Argentinian. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then they have Lupita, but also from my understanding of Lupita, she definitely identifies as a Black woman. So even though she's Mexican born, Black people claim her, which is also a thing that I notice Black people do a lot. They claim a lot of people. They be like, hey, you 5%. Everybody's Black, and I think that sometimes can be a hindrance. But for her, she's actually acting like she's a full Black woman. So it's not as if she's not Black.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Afro Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Because during slavery, they would escape to Mexico. I mean, you'll see Afro Mexicans that look, you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't, and out of nowhere, they're like, oh, ¿cómo estás? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually don't see that very often at all. And I know that
so you're not a tourist. You from around here. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. And I'll be honest, I really want to do I really want to see where my hair, you know what I'm saying? Like with the bloodline, the family tree and all that. Because I genuinely believe my grandmother was Afro-Mexican. She just has like every trait to her. You know what I'm saying? Like she's really, really dark skinned. She had an afro. She just like her hair type. I don't know, just all types, you know? So I definitely want to research that, because I genuinely believe she comes from that. But, nah, you know what? Those categories, it's not even how big or small the category is. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't. It's just like everything's so behind. You know what I'm saying? Behind the camera. You feel me? We're not in front of it, and we gotta be like a co-producer, or you know what I'm saying? Like in that essence. So yeah, no, I know what you mean on that. Like we did have 2 or 3, 4, but it's like
it's not a lot. And honestly, the way that y'all are feeling about that, I'm like, join the club. Because we don't get nominated often. Not too long ago was #OscarsSoWhite. Like we don't. That's why I side eye the nominations a little bit, because I'm like, I feel if Black Lives Matter was not a thing, I don't think that many Black people would be nominated for this. Because y'all had a lot of great shows that were out recently. One show that especially got snubbed was Pose, and that's a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And none of those Hispanic and Latinx or Afro-Latinx people were thought about it all. They didn't give him nothing. The only person that I know for sure who was nominated was Billy Porter, who like I love, but I just love Billy Porter in general. But he's Black and he identifies as a gay man, but he says gender. But none of the ladies that, and you know, and he was a side character. And you know, I'm not snubbing his nomination at all. It's well deserved. Did a good job. But the main characters, not a single one of them were nominated, and those ladies have to dig deep, because I've watched some episodes of Pose and that's some heavy stuff sometimes. And even some of the ladies in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I used to follow that show a lot closer than I do now. But those first couple of seasons, my Lord, those women went through some stuff and they gave some really groundbreaking performances. And to see them be snubbed, it's messed up. But like I say, I'm never surprised by any of this, because it happens all the time. It literally happens all the time. I can for an example, before I move on to our next talking point, one thing that made me very upset, and this is not the Emmys, but the Oscars, was a year or so back. It was Michael B. Jordan, and he did Creed. So Creed was nominated, but it was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Sylvester Stallone. And I went and saw Creed. And nothing against Sylvester Stallone. I'm an actor and I'm a director, and I can't watch movies and just enjoy them. I have to analyze everything I see. But from what I watched, Michael B. Jordan did a lot. Also, he gained a lot of weight to get that muscle and to learn how to be a boxer. And I think the man did a great job. And he was not nominated for an Oscar, but they nominated Sylvester Stallone. And no offense to him, I don't think he did a good job. That's just my unpopular opinion. I think he did the bare minimum. He wasn't even in the show that often in the first film, I feel. The show was about Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan wasn't nominated. And to add insult to injury, they called the man and said, hey, would you like to present the Supporting Actor Award? And guess who won it? Sylvester Stallone for Creed. So not only are we not nominating you, but we want you to give an award to someone who didn't put in as much work as you did on this film. Now, Sylvester Stallone, of course, the whole franchise was behind him with the whole Rocky thing.
Yeah.
Creed. But if you want to give him a nostalgic award, do him like you did Ruby Dee and Cicely Tyson with the whole honorary. Give him an honorary. Because, you know what I'm saying? But I say that to say that the snubbing is often. You know, you can work your butt off and they don't nominate you the lead. They're going to nominate a side character that about 7 lines and you sitting there looking crazy. And then they'll insult you by asking if you can come present the awards to the person who did less work for you.
That's wild. Yeah.
So that just like, I always think about that because I'm just like, oh, so that's what y'all do to us minorities. Oh, it's cute. I see you. First, let's do John's tweet. Because from his tweet, I didn't feel the same thing I felt from Dasha's tweet, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name correctly again. He said, why can't we Latinx have a piece of the pie? We are the largest ethnic group in America and missing as if we didn't exist. And he attached a LA Times article about it. So let's start with his tweet. How did you feel about it?
That's facts. I mean, you know, being the largest ethnic group, it's like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Why? Like, it's not like, because I don't want to get to the point where we gotta like do like a Brown Lives Matter situation where we feel woe is me. We feel like I don't want anybody to use this as an excuse to try to rally against anything, because you know, we on our end, we always gotta hold ourselves accountable. We gotta realize that, yeah, you know what, we have to understand that we're the 1.7% right now. You know what I'm saying? To where black actors are, I think, are about 23%, and then white actors are the rest. You know what I'm saying? We gotta realize that we are the super minority in this pool right now. And it's like you said, oh, your first time, like, you know, your first time feeling like this, you know, from the club, you know.
Yeah.
So man, yeah, like I agree with it, but trust me, I mean, I definitely understand like the opposition of it too. Is like, well, we've been feeling like this since, you know, God knows how long. You guys are barely starting to feel like that, you know?
And I agree with you. I actually didn't have an issue with what he said because it was a fact. And he cited an article, and I read the article, and it was just breaking down the stats of the nominations and the percentages. And it was honest and it was true. Nothing he said was wrong, and he didn't. The reason why I didn't have an issue with what he said, because he wasn't trying to bring down another group or put in another group in order to lift his group or bring awareness to his group of people. And I want to go back to what you said with the whole woe is me. No, I don't think it's a woe is me. I think it's you doing us wrong. And I think that's the thing that's with I've noticed with other minority groups that and granted, they may be fighting. However, a lot of them I don't see be as vocal as Black people. Like, Black people will be vocal, baby. They don't care. They gonna be in the street. They gonna be on your news. They gonna be in your feeds because they vocal, and they, you know, because we've been fighting this fight since you stole us and brought us here. So if, you know, and so they're very vocal, and I appreciate that he has an issue with that, and it is an issue, and I appreciate that he mentioned it as an issue. It is an issue. Y'all deserve representation as well. And he's speaking for his people. And I think nothing is wrong with that at all. Yes, that's what we do. When we get slighted, we made Oscars so white. We spoke up and said, how dare you not care about us when how much work we put in. So I had absolutely nothing. I didn't think anything was wrong with what he said. I think more of the issue may have come when Dasha actually tweeted, because I think his tweet was just stating a statistical fact of like, yo, stop treating us like we don't exist. So let's move on to what she said. In her tweet, she said, if it's only us speaking up on it, no one cares. It's the silence from those that fight for equality, but only their equality. Diversity, but diverse enough to include thyself. That mentality of, as long as I'm good, I don't see a damn thing. Now, when she said that, I felt some type of way, but I'm gonna put a pin in me, and I'm gonna go to you first, and and I'm gonna ask you, how did you feel about that?
I mean, it's. I'll be honest with you, it's half and half on that, because, I mean, because I think people don't care till it hits their community. I mean, just as much as with the COVID, people don't care about COVID till it hits them directly. But I think that's just natural, though. I mean, a lot of people don't ice. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people cannot relate nor understand the pain that it is to have a family member deported. You know what I'm saying? Or being held in cages where they can't even communicate. We can't even get them a lawyer, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? On that essence. So people don't understand. And then so when 21 Savage almost got deported and was held by ICE, that's when a lot of Black folk hopped on the abolish ICE. And let's discuss this. Let's talk about it. Let's this. So, you know, from that essence, from her tweet, that's where I think I can understand most, because when we were rallying about ICE, you know what I'm saying? You know, there was not a lot of noise from the Black community. But as soon as 21 Savage was detained by ICE, that's when a lot of folks started hopping in. And it was understandable. They just didn't understand what that pain was until it happened and it was inflicted to them. So when she said it's 50-50. The way she put it, that I could see why people would have been like, okay, let's start this Black versus brown conversation. Let's start. Why do you got to say it like that? Why do you think that there's any type of opposition? You know, it's us. It's a we thing. We got to go through this battle together. But she's trying to make it state like y'all only care when it comes to y'all. And you know what I'm saying? You guys want to be diverse till it's time for somebody else to be diverse. You know, and I don't. So the way she stated it, I don't know. Like I said, I understand why somebody would be like, "Oh, all right then." You know what I'm saying? But it's just natural, though. I think it's just natural. People just don't speak out till it hits home.
I will take my pen out now, and I will give I would say first, I vaguely heard about that 21 Savage thing. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not big on rap music in general, so it's not a genre I really listen to that often. Definitely now with like most of the rappers I do listen to now, they're more conscious rappers. So like I don't really listen to 21 Savage. And then when it comes to the female rappers, You know, I live for a good twerk, so of course I'm listening to Meg. So,
Yeah.
so you know, so that's where my rapper goes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times it's
Listen to Lizzo too, huh?
So yeah, so that's where I am with it. Well, another rapper that a lot of Black people do want deported, and I want him deported. He needs to go back to where he belongs, and that is Tory Lanez. Because you know, the controversial thing with him, allegedly him being the person that actually shot Meg Thee Stallion in both of her feet, like legit, she had bullets in both of her feet, and yeah, so I am definitely like, I'm all for it in that instance. If that's what he actually did, I'm like, deport. Like, you don't need to be here because you nothing but you up here trying to take, don't give him no visa, don't allow him back in this mug. So for me, like, but I do agree with you though, because I did see, even though I don't listen to 21 Savage, I did see a lot of Black people that started to be like, that's not right, stop trying to deport and yada, yada, yada. And so then, like you said, I do think it's very true that people don't really pay attention until it's in their own backyard, and that's when they start to care about things. I think my biggest issue with what she said, and let me look at it again so I can make sure that I'm making my point. And she said, the first thing she said, if it's only us speaking up on it, no one cares. And I'll go with that first sentence. For me, I think that's very true. But it's also true on our side. It's not as if Black people have always had allies. It's not as if literally it's 2020 and we are still protesting, please stop killing us. Can you please stop killing us? I mean, hey, can I ask, can I not die today? That's all I'm asking. You know, the fact that is the question that, you know, it's crazy. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. And we've been fighting this fight a long time by ourselves first. Before everybody was talking about allyship, there weren't that many people that were allying in the Underground Railroad, you know what I mean? And as things have progressed, there are more people who are starting to ally. But I also think because Black people still, even though it seems as if we have more and we're gaining more traction, it 100% came from us speaking out on our own. Most of what we've received has not been because others have spoke out for us. So for me, when she said that, I was like, yeah. And no one cares when no one was caring about us speaking out for years. And it was just us saying, please stop, let us be, let us live, give us rights. And there weren't a lot of people who were speaking out for us at all. And then the next thing is the silence from those that fight for equality, but only their equality. That is what I did. That was the first part when I started to be like, girl, don't try me. I will come through this phone talking about only their equality. Why did you even, and because of course you're talking about Black people. Like it's no other group that you're talking about, because just in the simple fact of the climate of the times. Like, okay, we're talking about equality. There are literally still protests, even though the news isn't covering it. There are Black Lives Matter marches still happening to this very day. The people who killed Breonna Taylor are still not in prison. You know, there's so many transgressions that have happened to Black people. We're still trying to get justice for people who've been killed, you know, years ago. So yeah, I'm fighting for my equality because I feel like as a Black woman and as a dark-skinned Black woman, the decks are already stacked against me because I was born a woman. Then I was born Black. Then I was born dark-skinned. So, you know, I'm not the darkest other dark-skinned woman, but when people look at me, and because I'm phenotypically Black, like I have a wide nose, I have big lips, I look like a Black person. There's no denying that. The thing it's a lot harder, I feel, just with the whole fighting for equality. So a lot of times I don't have room to fight for everybody else's equality every single day when I'm fighting for my own every single day, you know. And sometimes, shoot, I want to take a break. And the days that I want to take a break, I don't want to also fight for your equality too. And I know that may be a selfish thing, but we're in a selfish world. When I have friends of mine that, you know, that need support and that, you know, need me to speak out on something that happens to them, I have no problem with that. Definitely if they're another minority, because, you know, yeah, no one is speaking for you. But I won't say that in a sense that it is Black people, like you must speak out for every other minority Black people, because like I said, how I feel about it is that we speak out so often. We're always fighting for our rights. And I think a lot of times Black people want to end up being like, do what we do. We fight all the time. People don't listen to us. Welcome to the club. If you want to fight so much and you're going to have to go through the trenches. It is what it, and I feel like, not trying to speak for all Black people, but from a lot of the tweets, that's what I was gathering, is that a lot of them were just like, well, okay, and you're fighting, we fight for our equality every single day. Join the club. If you want to be loud and proud, then you go on the street and you yell about stop doing my insert group like this. Do what we do. And I think a lot of them feel as if, why do I have to fight for you when I already don't have the rights that I deserve to have? So while I'm fighting for myself. Now, and it could be even split, maybe not be many, but I know a lot of people that I saw in the tweets were definitely just saying, well, why do I have, why is that a thing that as far as equality? Yes, I'm fighting for my equality. I'm going to always fight for my equality. And then she said, diversity, but diverse enough to include ourselves. And like I said, definitely in the arts community, Black people, we speak up a lot. Definitely Oscar So White and so many other instances. And yes, and in those instances, we are fighting for ourselves, because that literally is what those things are like. Yes, we're fighting for ourselves. If you wanted to jump on the Oscar So White, then you should have been like, and subtweet and get me too, Oscar So White and non-Hispanic. And you know what I'm saying? Like you could jump in there and you could, or make your own hashtag, like bring awareness. And I'm not saying that they don't all do that, because I'm not privy, I'm sure, to I don't know if there's Hispanic or Latinx Twitter, because there's Black Twitter. So yeah, I'm privy mostly to Black Twitter. That's really where I'm living. Yeah. And so these movements and things, I just feel that you fight. I do get to the point where I'm like, but to think that when she says, the mentality of as long as I'm good, I don't see a damn thing. I don't necessarily think is we don't see stuff. I think that sometimes you aren't aware because you're so busy fighting for yourself anyway. So I don't think that I do think that when a lot of Black people did see the Emmy list, they were like, finally, there's enough of us on it. I don't think that they looked at that list and they were like, oh, but what about Hispanic people? Because I don't think that's just that's not their gut reaction to most things. Most of the time you gravitate towards who looks like you or are you being represented. And I think that's why, John spoke up and was like, yo, where am I? But when Black people saw the Emmy list, they were like, I'm right there. So you know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, the Latino community had just so much traumatization and they just have so much of a fear to speak up, because in this essence, I mean, when we did the Black and Brown Unity March in Pilsen, it was majority younger folk, younger. And I think a lot of the undocumented, the undocumented older group, they probably do feel like, they want to help, but they just don't have really a voice, because they have this fear of, ICE, coming through. Because even then, going to get your visa renewed or anything of that essence, that brings so much fear, because it can be in 2 seconds where there's a decision made, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're right. We can definitely do more. We can definitely have more of a loudness to make our voices heard. But
I especially think for those that are legal, because when you say that does make me think about that a little bit more with the whole ISIS thing. So there are people who are illegal, and a lot of times when you don't have rights, you don't try to speak up because you don't want to be deported. Those people, I'm not upset with them at all. You fighting for survival. I get it. But I will say, even in our own community, in the Black community, since we're talking about entertainment, there are Black people who don't speak up about stuff that have way more power than some others. And then that makes it worse for the next Black person, because you're not going to defend me when they do me wrong, because you didn't stand up when they did you wrong, but because you didn't want to lose your millions of dollars. So I think that for those that are legal, definitely in the arts, why you don't speak up? The famous ones. I'm not talking about the ladies on Pose, people who are just starting out, people who've been in the trenches only for a few years. I'm talking about these actors who've been out here for decades. I just noticed a lot of times the most famous of them, I don't normally, granted, I may not be following the right people, but from what I observe, a lot of them, I don't normally see speak up. I see, and it baffles me, because I'm like, first off, you legal and you worth millions. You don't even speak up for your own people. How asinine is that? So
No,
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody that does speak up often though is George Lopez. He's very very political too. You know what I'm saying? He's very loud with his voice too. But one person can only do so much. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as you know, the film industry is very political.
Absolutely.
You say one thing and that can get you casted off of a show or killed in a show where you're not returned, and it's crazy because they try to do that for us to make for us to shut up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely what they're doing. And I'm glad that slowly people are starting to expose that, and some people are starting to feel a little stronger, so where they feel they could kind of stand out and actually say something. We still have a long way to go because a lot of people have things that happen to them and they don't speak out about. But you're absolutely right. They do that so that we will be quiet, so that hey, yep, I sure did do wrong, and I don't want you to say nothing. I'll kill your character off. Now, how you gonna pay your bills?
The actor from The Chi.
Huh?
That's what happened with the actor from The Chi.
Oh, you talking about the guy?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I guess before we move on to that, for my understanding of my research of the situation with The Chi, I was very disappointed in him just because I was like, bro, there are so many people who would have taken that opportunity. You got fame so quickly. You literally were like acting for 5 years and you got Eazy-E. Like, you know how hard some people have been acting for way longer than that and they still haven't busted into a film. And,
you're talking about you're talking about the dude that played Eazy-E.
Oh, so which actor are you talking about? Is there more than one? I don't watch the show.
What happened to him? No, he.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second. That actor.
No, what happened to him? Bro,
okay, never mind.
No, what happened to him? Yeah, bro. He's not gonna be working for a long ass time. But
okay, who are you talking about?
There's an actor on The Chi that they tried. He's a black actor. They tried to have him play a gay character, and they basically turned his character into being gay. And he was like, "Nah, I don't want to have a gay partner. I don't want to do gay scenes, and no disrespect." I was like, "Okay, well, we're just gonna kill you off then." You know what I'm saying? And he finally came out. He was like, "Yeah, right? What's up?"
He doesn't identify as gay.
No. He's a straight black man, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't care about that. That's messed up. Because
as soon as the season happened, they're like, "Oh, damn, there's already somebody dead," and then he came out about it. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. I understand, dude. I mean, if you're uncomfortable doing something, bro, like I don't know if I could ever play a gay actor. And ain't no offense to nobody. It's just I understand it's just acting, but it's just.
But I also think that even that ties into our conversation of representation.
They couldn't find a gay actor for it. Like, why can't
exactly? Why don't you just find a gay actor if that is where you wanted his story arc to go? And he's not. And granted, sometimes they don't know where they want people's story arcs to go. So if they knew in advance that that's where they wanted his story arc to go, then you should have picked the gay black male actor. And if they didn't know in advance, they should have talked to him about it first. And if he wasn't comfortable, they should have worked with him to have his character do something else outside of that. Because if he's not comfortable, you can't make people do stuff they're not comfortable with. It's not okay. No, that's wild. I didn't hear that. Wow. Now you're gonna have me research and make a video about this man. Dasha's clarification. How do you feel about her clarification post?
Okay, so that's pretty much what I said in my video too. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, don't you dare start a fucking race war. I'm sorry I cuss, but like, don't you dare.
That's okay. You can say damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you dare start. It's just Twitter can get stuff so mishandled sometimes. And
I mean, they only give you like 140 characters or something. And I think that's really what messes people up. I don't understand why people just don't make videos about how they feel. And even still, that can be misconstrued and people can all edit parts of your video to still fit their narrative. I don't necessarily know if she fully meant, because I mean, you're opening my eyes a little bit to how you feel about what she said. I don't know if she necessarily fully meant it that way, but I do think there was a guttural reaction from a lot of Black people who were like, are you trying to come for us for fighting for ourselves and not dying? Like, are you just like, do the work? And I think a lot of them automatically were like, do the work yourself. Like, what, like, why do I always have to fight? And I feel like just a lot of people Black people will get into very exhausted. Not that they weren't before, but it's like, dang, I'm fighting the same fight my mama fought, the same fight my grandma fought, and now you not only am I still fighting for me, now you want me to fight for you when I barely got rights. So I just think that is some of what people were feeling on Twitter. So right away, when they saw a piece of what she said, they were like, how dare you? Who do you think you are to try to tell me that I shouldn't only fight for my equality? And I think, in a sense, in a perfect world, I would love for us for all to be unicorns and rainbows and love each other. And I just know that's not our reality. I'm not sure that will ever be our reality. I don't go out of my way to disrespect anybody. And I feel like people should always treat people with kindness and respect, and, treat, the golden rule, treat people how you would like to be treated. And don't harm other people. And if you see something, speak out if you have the ability to do so. And I heard her, but then I felt like it turned into like, everybody matters, all lives matter. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's even the point you were trying to make. I'm not sure you know exactly what you were trying to say and how you wanted to articulate that. Because by the end of the video, it was like the disabled, the Asians, the Blacks, the green people, the people who are short. I was like, everybody, girl, like, you have to pick a lane. Yeah. You can't, and I'm not saying that you can't care in all lanes, but if you're going to fight for your people, sometimes you have to choose your people that day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you're right on that. It's just, if you're trying to fight for everybody, then, I mean, technically your people still are going to be left behind. I mean,
yeah, which is why people of color turn into BIPOC, because you just saying people of color. Okay, now and how I personally felt, it was like, I don't like that term just because I felt like Black people were pushed to the bottom, and then I was like, and then I'm a woman, and I'm like, I'm even further at the bottom. So now and we people look at it, I was just like, and I didn't agree to this. No one called me and asked me that I want to be an acronym. No one called me. I didn't get a call. No one asked me that I want to be people of color. I thought I was Black. And, and all of a sudden I wake up one day and I'm not Black anymore. So I just think that when you group everybody together, I do think the message can get lost for the fight for your equality. I feel like people don't realize that everybody has individual issues going on within their own community that needs to be addressed, and that needs to be fixed, and that needs to be talked about. And you can be an ally with someone and help them when they have their issue or their movement or something you see going wrong. But I always think you should definitely fight for your own group, for the simple fact that, definitely for minorities, there is a lot of stuff in our specific communities that needs to be fixed. And when it comes to the masses of the whole world being ran by our colonizers who put us here. And I think another thing that makes some Black people upset that we get into these brown versus Black conversations a lot is I feel like a lot of us, and I could be wrong, not all, but feel as if Hispanic and Latinx people, you chose to come over here. Granted, despite, it may have been a hard life wherever you were, or however it figured out, you chose to come here. You made a decision to come here. And I feel like for a lot of Black people, we sit there and we feel, I didn't get a choice. I didn't get a decision to come here. I was forced to come here. And I think that for some of them, that is the issue. And I know for me at times, that can be an issue where it's like, definitely fight for your rights, but I think you should understand the country you're walking into. They don't care about us, who they stole, and I have no idea where I come from, and I think that's a thing that bothers us Black people at times, is just the simple fact that, like, you came of your own choice. And I'm not saying everyone that is of Hispanic or Latinx descent did, but I could be wrong, so correct me once I make this sentence. Came here because of their own choice, versus most African Americans and I consider African Americans to be Black people who were brought here through slavery. No choice. I mean, they snatched you up, they put you to work, and you don't even know your native language. And that's another thing, like, we don't know where we come from, a lot of us. Like, I don't know my heritage. I don't know what language my people spoke. I don't know what village I grew up in. I don't know what country I'm from. And so it's so different because, like, you have your flag around. You're like, I would love to be able to be like, yeah. So all I have is Black American culture that we hold on to so hard because we don't know, a lot of us, where we come from. I don't have a flag that I can represent, because even like Jamaican Black people and Black people who come from other countries that are not America, they have that. Like, you ain't gonna see no Black person walking around with no American flag on talking about America. It ain't happening.
No. No.
Yeah. So did you have anything to say?
Yeah. No. And I'll be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm happy to the point where a lot of people are right now are trying to educate rather than ridicule. Because I feel like a lot of people in discussions, they're like, you know what I'm saying? And they get wild like this. Yeah. So in this portion, it's definitely like, you know what I'm saying? On my side, I'll be able to like let you know how it really goes down. So like psychologically, you know what I'm saying? We have something that triggers for survival. You know what I'm saying? Something. So when that gets triggered, a lot of even morals are out of the question. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's how you look at it in areas that are poverty. You know what I'm saying? And people are wondering why there's so much havoc going on in the hoods. I'm like, well, because there's poverty. This thing gets triggered more often than when you get somewhere in Naperville or Schaumburg, where you're the average median salary is $200K. Like, you know what I'm saying? To where we're surviving on 20, 30K, and there's 5 people in that. We discuss it. Yeah, it is a choice, but it's not like we have the resources to research what's going to go on in the United States. We see the opportunity of a better life because we have cartels banging on our door asking for rent, defense rent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we walk outside of our house and there's 4 dead bodies randomly in the street. That are not even, the morgue hasn't even come to pick them up yet. And the police are barely getting there. And you know what I'm saying? And then out of nowhere, the car that you've been seeing there parked for a week, there's over 10 beheaded people in it. Or, you know what I'm saying? There's just so many instances where people are like, well, if you don't like this, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, in general, people are like, oh, well, why'd you come? I'm like, because strategic. I mean, if you're talking about it, parents, and you know how Mexicans are. We have huge families. We have, you know what I'm saying? There's families of, I mean, my dad comes from 12 brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? So they have that family oriented, and they're like, I can't raise my family here. And a lot of cultures understand how tight Mexicans are when it comes to family. We never, ever even fathom the thought of throwing our parents in the nursing home. They're going to live with us. We're going to take care of them when it's time. So when all those situations are going down and it's low pay, everything's going wrong, and we hear that there's opportunity to go to a state or to a country over, and majority of our problems will dissolve due to, and it's not even like we live luxuries over here. We come here and we're living with a family member in their basement, and there's 5 of us, you know what I'm saying? 5 to 7 of us. It is a choice, but it's one that's made, to survive, in essence. I mean, majority of us come over here just to work. It's not like we come here to be superstars, and I'm so glad my parents made that decision for us to, come over here. My dad played it really smart too. My mom was trying to go back to Mexico, and my dad was like, no, we're gonna wait until Ruben is born. And we're gonna wait till he's born so he can have U.S. citizenship, so he doesn't have any issues later on in life. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? They waited the extra, 4 or 5 months, and I'm luckily I got citizenship in the United States, and I got citizenship in Mexico too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy he made that decision. So suffering in Mexico, dude, you damn near homeless. The government ain't gonna hear you out. There's no such thing as EBT every month. There's no such thing. The assistance is very, very you know what I mean. Especially when I was living in Central Illinois, there's so many conservatives out there, so they just simply just choose not to try to understand. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like, they'll try to block out all the information that I give them, and they want to, and they just deny it, and they throw it away and think it's hoax. I'm like, no, like, I lived this, and like I had family members in cages in the Obama era, and I could tell you how different it was when Obama was in office. He made sure the families weren't separated. He made sure that they got showers. He made sure that they were fed 3 times a day. He made sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when people bring that up, it bugs me. Oh, well, the cages have been there since the Obama administration. You could thank him.
They love to say that. They love to say
and I'm like, you know what? I had 2 uncles in there. and two uncles and their kids with them. And I could tell you that they were never separated. They were fed. They told me they've never been fed that much in their life. You know what I'm saying? They had beds. They had, they were treated like humans. You know what I'm saying? And then I have other family members now that were there, and then they got, deported back. They weren't even deported back to the right area. They were just sent to a random location. They were supposed to be here in Chihuahua. They got sent to San Luis, down 3-4 states. And I almost had an uncle that got deported to Colombia. You know what I'm saying? The difference between the cages that they were then and now, it's such a different. It's so different. And they're like, no, the media. No, dude, I live this. Fuck, F the media. This is firsthand information from what I've suffered. That's why I don't like our president. I hate him in this essence. You know what I'm saying? There's no respect there because he has affected me. You know what I'm saying? Personally, you don't understand it. It's just it's what the media does. No, and this dude affected me personally. Affected my family, and so that's why I try to educate people. I really do. I try to hey man, this is how it is, the struggle of a Mexican. And I mean, you can even see it in the Chicago streets. When we're down and out, we try to sell cotton candy in the streets. We try to sell flowers. We try to sell fruit. We try to sell. I'll promise you, I've never seen a homeless Mexican with a sign that says please money or whatever. No, the only times I ever seen a sign on Mexican that says work. I need work. I want to work. Give me jobs, please. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen anything helps. No, I've seen please give me work. I've seen them have fruit on deck, trying to sell fruit, and you see 80-year-old Mexicans pushing a cart in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And what's cool, and it's something that people don't cover. Not too long ago, my boy shared a video. His homie always buys out this guy's cart. He started doing that on Father's Day. He walked up to the guy and the guy was like, hey, how can I help you? He's like, hey man, how old are you? I'm like, oh, I'm 75. He was like, you got a family? He was like, oh yeah, no, they're at their house right now. I'm like, it's Father's Day, man. What are you doing here? Oh well, I gotta provide. I gotta make sure my family's good. He was like, man, go spend Father's Day. How much for everything? And this black guy bought it all out. This dude was like, what? I want everything. I want you to go home and spend time with your family. And then the Mexican guy just started bawling. He started bawling, and that hurt because I know that's my grandpa. That's my, you know what I'm saying? You see your family members in somebody because that's what the grind brings. And that's why I'm so grateful for my dad and my mom, because I've never, they spoiled me. I've never had I've always had everything that I needed and almost damn near everything that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad always, hey, you good? You everything good? Everything straight? You good? What do you need? You know what I'm saying? What are you? And even to this day, I don't live with my parents, so I talk to my parents every day. I even FaceTime. I think for the past 3 weeks since I've been sick, I FaceTime my dad. He just calls me to make sure I'm good, for an hour every day. And same thing with my mom's 30, 45-minute conversations. And it's just, and then they always ask me, are you good? Let me see your fridge. They make me show them my fridge. Hey, you good? All right, cool. All right, man. All right, just let me know if you need anything. Even to this day, what do you need? Are you good on money? You haven't been working. You've been sick. I'm good, Dad. I have a savings account. He's like, okay, just let me know, please. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna send you something at the end of the month. You're not gonna see a real good paycheck for the next couple of weeks. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm good. He was like, I'm gonna just send it. And if you don't pick it up, then I lost that. I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? And that is so. I come from a very, 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 very loving family. You know what I'm saying? I'm very blessed to have my brother, my mom, and my dad. So when people bring situations like this up, I'm like, man, I can't even fathom. My dad came on a coyote. You know what a coyote is?
I mean, I know it's not what I think it is. I'm sure.
A coyote.
Because the only coyote I know is an animal.
Oh, no. Okay. So a coyote is someone that smuggles people.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So my dad came from a coyote. He paid somebody money for them to smuggle him in the United States, and they took him to California. And my dad, like I said, that he did that, and so he was, they hid him under the van. They had a portion where they built, and it's crazy how my dad was speaking of it. He's like, yeah, dude, I was 12 years old getting smuggled. you know, and he made that decision at such a young age because he thought of the future. He didn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, no, I can't keep, you know what I'm saying, hearing everything. I can't keep seeing people with their head cut off. Like, I know there was a better situation, and it was a couple hours away, and I just had to do it. And, you know, and, so, I mean, and my mom comes from a very bougie lifestyle. I mean, she had a butler growing up. My grandmother is one of the sweetest ladies to has ever lived. And
put the picture up again and let it stay up there a little longer so we can see her.
And you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
she is the one of the, oh my God, like I'm probably gonna tear up, but she was the biggest nurse in the biggest hospital in Mexico. She is, you know, smartest, sweetest. She, on her days off, she would go to the poor neighborhoods in Mexico and pay for vaccines out of pocket and do checkups for free, go into houses. Hey, like, I'm just here to check your heart rate. Her days off, she did it out of the kindness because she knew that she had the resources and she had that blessing of being able to go to the biggest university, that, you know what I'm saying, the Yale compared, you know what I'm saying, like, she was able to do that. That's why when the Black versus Brown comes up, why is there a versus? We go through so much similar battles in the States.
And when you say that, the similar thing right away when you were talking about in the ISIS camps where they separate them, and when you were telling me that story, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, slavery, except for you not picking cotton. Because literally they just separated the families and they were like, bump, who cares? So we do, like you said, I do feel that we do go through a lot of similar things. I do think that society helps in the making it a versus, because society always makes us feel like there can only be one. Even when it comes to the entertainment industry, when we're picking actors, there are not that many Black actors that are winning all at the same time. And you can say that about every minority group. They only give us a couple people, but they'll have 5 million white people who are mediocre as can be. So I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten to the point when I see Black actors that I don't think are that great, but they, you know, get a show or something, I'm like, good for you. If they can have white mediocre people getting paid, you could be Black and mediocre too. So, but I do think that we do have a lot of similarities, and thank you so much for sharing that story with me, because of course there's something, why would I just automatically know a lot of those things? But yeah, I feel like, and for our community, I got privileged in certain ways. Like my mother and father, they were never together. And my mom was a teenage mother, and she struggled a lot with me until her and my stepfather got together and they got married. But we lived in the hood most of my life. Like I didn't move into a nice neighborhood until I was 16, where they didn't shoot every night. And my mother in elementary school, she sacrificed a lot for me. Like I could tell that, like, oh, now as an adult, I can tell that we didn't have money. But as a child, I was like, oh, it's cool, it's fine. She made it happen. And she's a nurse, and she's got her doctorate. She's a psychiatrist now too, and everything. So like, I'm really proud of her. But she actually did something that there's a Black lady who's sitting in prison right now for, and I thank God they ain't found my mama. But she actually she lied about where I lived on my elementary school application so that I can go to a better school in a white neighborhood.
And somebody's locked up for that right now? Somebody's locked up for that right now?
There's a Black lady who did that, and they put her in prison. And so my mama, you know, she sacrificed a lot for me, and so I knew that I had to do what I had to do in school, and you know, and because our families are, when it comes to Black people, because of slavery and separating and everything, a lot of people are really out for themselves. I could think of the Black community. I think more the millennial and Gen Z and those who are around during the civil rights era, like there are groups of people in each one of these decades that are like, still believe in the philosophy of we got to stick together, we got to make each other better, we got to help each other. But there are those of us who make it out and make it to where we have the money, and they don't put their hand down and they don't help that person up. They don't, you know, let their grandma stay in their house, you know, in old age. They don't take care of their families. They don't do that because they've been so programmed to be about self, because they've had no one. And because it's just a repeated cycle, you know, crack epidemic, all these things that after you took us, then you put us through all these hoops just to survive. You know, the school to prison pipeline, there's a young girl named Grace, a little Black girl. She's sitting in prison right now in the children's detention camp because she didn't do her homework. That was her crime. And this is 2020. And the judge said they weren't gonna let her out until they had her hearing in September 2020. It's been over 60 days that baby's been in prison, in a child prison. You know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of similar things. And I think because I think a lot of people can be so quick to just be so angry and be so mad, which everyone you have the right to be angry, you have the right to be mad. These are things that are wrong. But then I think a lot of times we'll put our anger towards other minority groups, and I'm talking about all minority groups, versus where it's supposed to actually be directed towards, which is these political systems and the systems they've created to put hurdles in our way from achieving the American dream. So how do you feel about Hispanic and Latin representation in the entertainment industry? How do you feel that is?
Oh, Myesha. So we have, and I think a lot of it is going to be self-inflicting too, okay? A lot of it's self-inflicting because there's this, I have no idea why, and I think it happens in the Black community too, honestly. There's beef. I'm talking about beef between light-skinned Mexicans and dark-skinned.
Colorism.
Yeah.
Colorism.
Major beef, and I've never understood it. But you know, so right then and there's already a divide, all right, between our own folk. Just because someone's darker than somebody, and obviously, who do you think gets the roles? The light skins. A lot of light skins, majority. Because you go to you watch these novelas, the soap operas.
Oh, I know the novellas. I used to watch them.
Yeah, no, everybody's light skinned. Everybody. And so, you know, I don't know where I'm at, to be honest, because I've been told that I'm really dark, and then I've been told that I'm light, and I don't know where I'm at. So, because my mom calls me prieto, which means dark. I'm like, you're dark. Like, and my mom and my dad and my brother, they're light skinned, and I came out brown. And so they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So I just never understood where I was at, but regardless, I see it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of light-skinned Mexicans and a lot of light-skinned or dark-skinned Mexicans, they just never work together. And on top of that, I'm just going to talk about the scenery in Chicago, okay? They're so, I don't know why somehow somebody can be so local but act so Hollywood. I've been on sets with so many Latino actors that are like, yeah, I've been on Chicago PD, and I've had, you know, and then you look them up, they said 2 words. Yeah, I was an actor on, and they just feel they're high, you know what I'm saying? They're on their high horse. They're like, yeah, you know, I said something, and he was just an extra. You know what I'm saying? So there's just so, I don't know. There's this thing called machismo, and it's so big in the Mexican community to where Mexican men are just built to feel only 2 emotions: angry or you know what I'm saying? You're only allowed to feel angry or happy. The only 2. You're never allowed to feel some type of sadness, depression, mental health, you know, any type of down. If you look like that, you're soft. You know what I'm saying? You're labeled. All right, you can't talk about it. You can't do this. So even then, all these Latinos are just like, you know what I'm saying? They're always like, you know, and you can't tell them nothing. They're just so Hollywood. They you know what I'm saying? And that's why, even on my video, I've had more opportunities from African Americans all day. The first person that gave me my first paid comedy show and paid movie role was Maurice Prophet. Love that guy. Shout out to Maurice Prophet.
Yeah, and, shout out to Maurice.
From B-Side Studios. And you know what I'm saying? So that right there, boom, start something. The CEO of the entertainment group that I'm in is Black. My comedy manager, guess what? Black. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much more opportunity that I gotten from the Black community. That's why I was such, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you see my shirt, like, I'm just so, you know what I'm saying, Black Lives Matter, because they've helped me elevate, not even just as an entertainer, but as a person. They're the first ones to educate me over ridicule, to where any Latino, they were just so quick to ridicule, and they were just so quick to try to, you know what I'm saying, put you down, and on that essence, you know, and rather than, hey, bro, you're messing up, but here's how to, you know, clean that up, you know?
Yeah.
And you get to that point where we talk about representation. A lot of it is self-inflicted, because we choose to separate our own, you know what I'm saying, right off the bat. oh, you're dark skinned Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're light skinned. You know what I'm saying? And especially when Shorty, I forgot what her name was. I feel this is bad. But she won a plethora of awards, and she was dark skinned Mexican. It was a black and white movie. It was I think pretty sure it was last year. Soul or something like that. I'll have to look at.
What was it about? Can you remember?
It was she was indigenous Mexican. Like she was super rooted and I forgot what it was about. But I
can't think of it.
No, I'll look it up and show you the film. But but who were the first to ridicule light skinned Mexicans? It was a black and white movie. Like there's only two colors shown, and for them to like belittle her and not be like, yeah, that's our person. You know what I'm saying? She killed the Emmys last year, and actually, I'm pretty sure even before she had something else to wear. But she went into the Emmys with a bag. She came out like this, like you know how like some people.
Oh yeah, with all the awards in their hands, yeah.
Bag secured, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is the turning point. She is making it. She's making a route for us. And then you see the light skins on Twitter. Nah, they were bagging on her looks, bro. They're like, nah, she's not even that pretty. She's not all this essence. We should have had. I think they brought up what's the old girl from Amores Pero. There's just one light skinned Mexican girl that gets casted in everything. She's, you know what I'm saying. She's the I don't know how to. She's the who's like a black actress that's always in everything?
Jesus Christ. They only give us like 4. Viola got the older ladies covered.
Viola, okay, so yeah, we'll bring her.
She's always the older lady.
Yeah. So no, yeah, that's her. She gets casted in everything. And so they're like, we should have put her in it. She's a light skin actress. So like, you know, it's a lot of it's self-inflicting, but then again, it's we got to realize that we're just such at this percentage that we got to create more. And that's what directors like Guillermo del Toro is doing. You know, Guillermo del Toro is.
I love his work. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying. And when he got it, you know, and we discussed this before, but when he got his star, you know what I'm saying, on the Walk of Fame, he had his Mexican flag on him too, and he, you know what I'm saying, he was taking pictures with it, and then he was discussing our president and how much he dislikes him. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I literally, one picture shows him going like this. You know him. He's chunky and has, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like this, and you know, it's dope. You see stuff like that, and you know there's hope. But then again, then you see the other instance. How you gonna belittle one of our own? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna just because of her skin tone, she's darker? You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of it's self-inflicted, Myesha. I'll be honest, you know, but you know, like I said, even in the Chicago scenery, it's just it's whack. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm actually going to be working on a film in the next couple of months. Majority is Latino cast, and I've already heard stories about some of the actors that how bougie they are. So I'm like, let somebody try to tell me something. I'm baby horchata, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they don't know.
So
I would say for you, for the colorism thing, when it comes to our representation, African American representation, because that's really the only lens I could speak through it on.
Yeah.
Because African diaspora, even y'all, the diaspora is like so vast. But for us, colorism huge. Where we're from, a lot. They can only give you 3 or 4 black people at a time, and they each are one age category. So it gets very annoying. And then they do the whole ambiguous and biracial thing. So then when you put ambiguous black people and biracial black people in the roles that you said are supposed to be black people, now you're erasing full black people. And then now you're erasing dark black people because they don't get as many opportunities. And a lot of times when you do give them opportunities, it's stereotypes. And I'll say, I've noticed that in Chicago as well, with issues, mostly on the TV and film side. I won't say so much in the theater, because in the theater side, I mostly get hired by white theaters. Yeah. I've only been hired by like 1 black theater, and it's not because they just don't hire me. It's just because out of the 250 theaters in Chicago, only like 5 of them are black. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, of course, I'm going to have a more chance of me getting hired by a white company than I am a black company, because of this vast wealth of those. But a lot of TV and film shows I've gone in for, they have been for like ignorant stuff. One of the ones I went in for like a Chicago show where they wanted me to say, oh yeah, heroin, crack, he smokes it all. And I'm like, why I gotta say that? Why I gotta say the black dude smoking heroin, crack all the time? Also, I go in for a lot of baby mamas. I go in for a lot of women who crying over dead children. Or I go in for ones where people come to my door, where your boyfriend at? He ain't here and he ain't coming back. Like, that's what you give me. And
no,
so when I see black actresses who are darker get roles of substance, then like you, I'm like, okay, we making progress. Like, dang, I can play more than a freaking stereotype. But a lot of times, like you said, we have to make our own work. And that gets annoying at times because sometimes you just want to be an actor. You don't always want to also be a director, a producer, the distributor, the light person, the cinematographer, the editor. Some of us don't want to do all that. But unfortunately, because of where we stand in society, we have to do all of that. The perfect example is Issa Rae. Love her with all my heart. She gives so many opportunities to black people and of all shades. And so I really appreciate her for all the hard work that she does. But yeah, we have a huge issue with colorism. We have stereotypical roles. We have black people who think they're special because they did a guest star. We have the exact same thing going on our side. And then
we have so many similar battles.
Yeah, and we have people that don't help you up. I know for myself, whenever I have an opportunity, because I direct as well, so I'll be behind the camera and behind the scenes of, on stage. I've had plenty of people hit me up and say, hey, you want this role? And if you don't want it, who do you want us to give it to? Some shows people really do not audition people for. Oh, I put people on. I put a lot of people on. And I'm not saying it to say that I put people on. I'm saying it to say that, like, I understand how hard it is. So if I have a position where I have a position of power, I'm going to reach my hand down and I'm bring up the next black person behind me or the next whatever category they're looking for so that you can get on too. If somebody reaches out to me for help, I help them. Granted, I also actually get paid to do that. So if you want to reach out for a consultation, world, I could do that as well. Right. It's very similar. And also I want to move on to which is right up the alley. How do you feel about the whole Afro-Latino representation? Because I'll say one thing, not one thing, but I'll say for myself, what I noticed is that because of how black people are, we take biracial people in. If you because the whole one drop rule where black people just make everybody black. You got one drop of black, you black. And I think sometimes we don't realize how that can hinder us because then you get full black people will get overshadowed. And like we say, instead of you getting cast, someone who's ambiguous is cast. Or, you've erased yourself so much that everything is considered blackness, even if it may not be completely so. And I'll say when it comes to Afro-Latinos, more often than not, the ones that are darker, black people wholeheartedly will embrace and back behind them. So for example, Jarrell Jerome from When They See Us, he won an Emmy, I believe it was last year for that. And when I tell you Black Twitter was losing their minds for old boy, and for those that don't know what When They See Us was about, the Central Park 5, it was
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I still haven't seen it because I'm scared to look at it.
Oh, honey, I only watched it because I did a video on it because it just brings me a lot of anxiety, and it's very heavy show. And it's just this is how they do you wrong in a 5-part series. It's very powerful, but I get it. Not people who haven't seen it, I'm not judging you at all. It's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy. You gotta be in the mood for that.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's trusty because every time I put on Netflix and I see it pop up, I'm like, not today. I feel good. I'm in a good mood.
I'm in a good mood. Let me not get mad.
Because man, just see those things. Even their cover, it just shows a black boy with a tear in his face. How fearful. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait till the day I'm upset or something.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
And I will say that when he won his Emmy, and he identifies as Afro-Latino, and he's of Dominican descent, and black people were loving him. I didn't see, granted, also I'm not on that part of Twitter, but the people I saw repping him and were going hard for him were black. So how do you feel about Afro-Latino representation within your community? Do y'all go hard for these people, or what is it? I didn't really see anybody gassing him up. John, did you gas, John Leguizamo, did you gas him up? George, did you gas him up? I'm like, because he part you. In the sense of just like, even though you may not come from the exact same areas, I just mean when, they group us and make us check a box kind of thing. When they're like, are you white, you're black, you're Hispanic, that kind of thing. It's like, that's a part of who you are. And if the black people can take the part of him that's black and say, good for you. Like, Dasha, did she do that? Did she like, hey, yo, representation? Or like, how does that work on y'all's end?
You know what, to be honest, it's just lack of knowledge, honestly. I mean, because I'll be honest, I didn't know that he was Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? So it's lack of knowledge because, I mean, once you see somebody like that, you're just like, oh, that's cool. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's one of my brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's black. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool. You don't look, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I went on IMDb and researched, all right, where's this dude born? Like, let me, you know what I'm saying, on that as.
And I know for me, I do that just so that I could, I don't like to erase people's identities. And I feel when you just give people, well, he's black. I'm like, no, he's more than that. Don't just make him black, because then 5 months from now, you're going to complain that he got the role of an African-American man when you was just yelling about he was all black and he was nothing else. So I like to, when people are biracial or they identify whatever, I like to be very clear, like, no, they can be more than one thing at the same time. And, let it be. And I think that people don't, like, people will look at him and automatically just be like, oh, well, he black. And they don't, don't know his story.
That's the truth. Like, I didn't know, like I said, even with Tessa Thompson, I didn't know she was half Mexican. I thought she was just black. You know what I'm saying? And I find out she's Mexican, European, and black. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, it's up to us to do more research like you do on that end. Because, yeah, you shouldn't erase people's identity like that. You should just, because, like I said, but like when I make it, it's like I find out I got Spaniard in me. Now I gotta, like, you know what I'm saying, like have some, like, oh, he's Mexican and Spaniard, or, you know what I'm saying, like, not just boom, because I got some Greek in me too. I don't talk about it, but I have some Greek in me too, and I don't really talk about that. I don't really want to be labeled as a Greek actor. I don't know what I'm saying, like, that's just not me. And I mean, I got to, you know what I'm saying, you see in the back, if you can zoom in, I got my little Greek flag over there too, but it's like, but no, when it comes to Afro-Latinos, we definitely show love. I mean, technically Shakira is,
Shakira?
So, I mean, and we love her, like, you know what I'm saying?
But she's very white passing. I didn't know she was Afro-Latino because, like, I would have never, I don't see no blackness in her. So that's why I was like, just looking at her anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hips don't lie. I don't know.
But I figure, but when you go over it, like, y'all dance too, like y'all not rhythmless as a whole. It's not like y'all can't dance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
it's like I said, we definitely show out for the ones that we do know. But when it comes to, like, Buddy who won, from when they see it, it's like, oh, like you told me, like, you enlightened me. I was like, oh, he's Dominican Republic. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that's a thing. I think they get overshadowed a lot. There's another one. She's a musical artist, but she dabbles in acting. Her name is Amara La Negra. And, like, she darker than me with an afro, but fluent Spanish. And she talks about her issues with discrimination and how she isn't always seen, and how they don't always accept her. They're not as readily to accept her on that front, but that Black people accept her a lot more. She looks Black. But I just think that's something that people as a whole just need to start, like, researching people's background. And if they're a part of you, be able to celebrate them too, so that you actually, so people feel embraced. Now they have their own experience because that's a different lane. However, you can still hit a shout out, a tweet. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about especially the people that have, like, verified accounts. Because you yell about representation, but when someone who's part of you gets represented, you ignore them because that's not the representation that you prefer. Like you were saying, how they wanted the white passing Hispanic lady. She should have been the one that got the part, not you, because you too dark. It's like we build battles within our own communities. And I'm like, it makes me just feel like, well, how do we progress if we always fighting each other plus fighting the system? This stuff is tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that when minority groups fight for other minority groups, the favor gets returned? And what I mean by that is, like, I know that, like, kind of like with allyship, I know a lot, like I've been saying the whole time, like I know Black people are always fighting for their rights and such, but because before anybody else was, and I think that's every group, before anybody else is fighting for you, you got to fight for yourself, because people just won't, they don't care, because
Yeah.
it's not, like we've said, if it don't readily affect my backyard, I don't really care. So do you think that is that the case, that people are they able to fight for one another and still fight for themselves?
As of recent, yeah. I mean, a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, when the whole 21 Savage stuff jumped off, you know what I'm saying? I could say then that nobody really cared about our issues, but now it's, I mean, you're starting to see a lot of Black Brown Unity marches. I mean, and they're all surrounded. Not even BLM. We're just talking about abolishing ICE. You know what I'm saying? So as of recent, most def, yeah, no, I definitely feel the love coming from in the African American side on that end. I mean, like I said, I've always felt love from your community, regardless. You know what I'm saying? And especially like people like Maurice, like he has so many like he just the way he is, like he loves Mexican culture and how he moves. You know what I'm saying, to put on Latino actors too. You know what I'm saying? Like he always trying to have representation. Because I was even when it came to Mind Games. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was helping him cast too. Like, you know, say I could just tell that he was just trying to make sure to have as diverse as possible. It's like, yeah, as of recent, man, everybody's just been, you know what I'm saying, I think more unified these past 3 or 4 months as soon as this popped off. You know what I'm saying? Um, Now, like I said, if it was like 2 years ago, I'd say, yeah, no, nobody really cares about our issues. But now, you know, it's definitely more unified. I mean, even you can even tell in the communities. I mean, if you go over to Pilsen, even Little Village, we can talk about Little Village. You go in those communities where it's heavily, predominantly, you know, Mexican and Puerto Rican, bro. You see all walks of life now, and I'm not even trying to touch on gentrification. It's just people coming from the outskirts. You know what I'm saying? Coming in to help small businesses or to just enjoy the culture. I mean, I got some white homies from Central Illinois that I took to Little Village, and they heard stories about how dangerous it is over there. And I was like, nah, bro, and they like, we good. All right, you with me, you straight. But they wanted to go. They wanted to, you know, they wanted to see the graffiti art. They wanted to see the landscape, you know what I'm saying, the landmarks that they had. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to go by the clock tower. They wanted to, you know what I'm saying? So they were interested in being more into a Mexican community, because they'll say too, like, bro, our white community is cornfields. Like, we want to go over to Chicago and just enjoy your guys' communities, because you guys have different communities. You guys have your own museum in every location. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in Pilsen, there's the Mexican art, you know what I'm saying, Mexican art museum. And then you go, the Greek town got their own. You know what I'm saying? Then you go to Chinatown. Then you go to, like, bro, you guys embellish your guys' culture and you guys make something of it. And your cities, your divisions are so different. It's so cool.
And so my last thing is and you already touched on it, but where do we go from here when it comes to our arts community? And I know I'll let you go ahead and then I'll close on it. So when it comes to the whole Brown versus Black Emmy situation and just in the industry in general with lack of representation, where do we go from here?
Well, man, when we unite, we create some magic. That's the thing. And I mean, I'll look at it from the California side too. You see a lot of these rappers have so much Mexican connection to it. And you have the Black artist and the Mexican artist, and when they unite, it's just magical. Like, I got some California homies that make music, and they always use a trumpet, and they always have like a Spanish skit, and it just adds so much sauce to it. You know what I'm saying? So going forward, I really feel like all of us just need to create together rather than our own communities. Because I know there's just so many there's so many divisions that are, like, you know, like 4 Black actors or 4 Mexican actors, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we got to uprise our own people. But we have to realize too that when we unite, it's just so magical. Like we come from so many similar mental health, to where traumatization to this, that we can bring our ideas together, that even though we come from different areas, we feel that pain. So it's like, boom, art. And going forward, yeah, and it's gonna happen. I know a lot of people are gonna unite more working wise, And you know, when it comes to representation, I'm applauding where I'm applauding where the Black platform is going. I really do. I think it's dope. You guys are starting to own more businesses. You guys are starting to own your own networks. You guys are starting to, you know what I'm saying? There's so many cool things happening in your community that I feel like we got to take notice as well. And ours, like, all right, cool. If, you know what I'm saying, they're doing it, we got to create that establishment as well. I mean, seeing now that are primarily news outlets that are Black owned, and you know what I'm saying, music platforms that are Black owned, and like we gotta start doing something like that, because even Univision and Telemundo, they're not owned by Latinos. I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure they're owned by somebody in Europe.
Yeah.
And
BT is as well. BT used to be Black owned, but now it's owned by a white company, Viacom, if I'm not mistaken. But I do know that OWN is owned by Oprah. Yeah. But like, we're starting to get more TV shows and stations centered around us as well. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
When Black Panther came out, that's my favorite Marvel character. And you know what I'm saying? So I was a Mexican rocking beads. I had the Black Panther shirt going to these Comic-Cons, and you know what I'm saying? Even some people were like, all right, you cool, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and when it comes to Black Panther, I'm sitting here like, there are people who love the Marvel universe regardless. So they were going to come out for Black Panther. I think it was great, and I think it was wonderful for the Black community. Yeah. But I don't think there should be any, because I'm a Marvel fan, so I just feel like there shouldn't be any side-eyeing people who ain't Black that wear Black Panther paraphernalia just for the simple fact that Black Panther's a Marvel character. Like, yes, if that's your favorite character, then you rock your shirt and you rock your Black Panther stuff.
And I was so happy how the success of it, like how much it brought in box office, how much it, you know what I'm saying, like seeing it crush Captain America, crush Iron Man, crush these other films. I'm like, that's what you need though. Like, that's how you make noise. And the way Chadwick Boseman and you know what I'm saying, everybody else stepped up. Michael B. Jordan, like Michael B. Jordan created a villain that was like finally, like, you know what I'm saying, like established like that. And
they're like layers, because the villains are normally so one note. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so like I said, those types of art, I mean, you're bringing all walks of life, because the festival that Maurice always does, WakandaCon, like, you know what I'm saying, I was definitely one of the lighter folk there, but like it was just so dope being a part of it, seeing how much that movie transpired and inspired other folks to, you know what I'm saying, to grow, and having its own convention, like literally WakandaCon, like it was so cool. And I was excited. I was all over that place. I was supporting everybody, and you know what I'm saying, anywhere where I could buy something, I was like, all right, cool, you know what I'm saying. And like I said, I did get some side eyes, but that didn't bother me. I understood that. Hey, if I saw Myesha at Amor de Respetos in San Luis, Mexico, I'd be like, what Myesha doing here? Like, she. No, I appreciate you bringing me on. This is such a dope concept that I do love talking about, because I like shedding light on the issues that where Black and Brown is, but I also like shedding the light to where how much the African community means to me and how much they've helped me. And this is not just a phase for me. You know what I'm saying? It's not, because a lot of people are phasing out now. They haven't been doing the same as what they're doing, but I'm still to this day. I mean, yesterday, like you were saying, people are not even auditioning people anymore. They just give you role. And this dude came up to me like, hey man, I want you to be in this movie, but I also want you to direct my next one. And he's Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, and my homie Ryan Lamar, who directed Canal Street, produced it and direct, you know what I'm saying? He's helped me out too. He was like, hey bro, like, I see you doing behind the scenes photography. I got a music video, you know what I'm saying? I did it last Sunday. I was like, I got a music video. Can you shoot some photos for me? Bro, say less. Like, I want to be on set with you guys. And when he introduced me to all of his people, they're all powerful. We're talking about the you know what I'm saying? It's just so dope being around. And then, like I said, the CEO of Star Power, Mario Cannon, the people that he surrounded me with, man, he's introduced me to Montana 300, Country Black of 36 Mafia, and LaRoyce Hawkins from Chicago PD. Like, you're around Black excellence, and you see it, and you see their grind, and it's like, if they can do it, like, our people need to. Because I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever been around like a super powerful like Mexican, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that. because no one's ever given me the opportunity to meet them or to hear, man, like you said, like you want to help your people out. I'm all about putting people on too. Trust me. There's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about where somebody hits me up, hey, like I need this, like you want to do it? I can't, but here's a list of people. And I tag people all the time when I see stuff. All right, cool. Oh, my homegirl fits the description. Boom. Support is free, Myesha, and that's what people don't understand. And you know, a lot of people don't. A lot of people, I don't expect a thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times I don't get it, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that when they establish a role and they get it, that's dope. I'm happy they got it, and I don't expect a thank you or nothing. But a lot of it has to do with gratitude and remembering. Because as much as I put people on, there's, you know what I'm saying? Like I got my homies that put me on, so I understand what that feeling is of like thinking of you, like, you know what I'm saying, being thought of, per se. So that's why I am the way I am, and you know what? Being the way that I am has made me where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? So when people try to flip it and try to be Hollywood and all this and just be a bad person, you know what I'm saying, not a good person, they'll see where that's gonna get them. Me being genuine and how, you know, hardworking I am. Like you said, dude, all the movies that I was supposed to be in the summer, 6 of them, 3 of them were SAG, and you know, they got shut down. I didn't audition for one of them because they remembered me from a homie, or they, you know what I'm saying, they remembered me, or the directors talked to each other. Hey, who was that Mexican that was in your film that was, you know, oh, cool, yeah, here's his information. Hey, bro, so-and-so sent me your information. I like you. I want to give you this role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so absolutely.
We're at our stage in our careers where that's gonna be a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just because of who we are. It's how hardworking we are. They understand how serious we take this. You know what I'm saying? And how we're passionate about our gift, and you know what I'm saying. And that's just gonna be the normality going forward. Yeah, it's not like I'm bougie and be like, I ain't trying to audition. No, I'm always I'm ready for an audition. But when they say, here it is, and it sounds like a good project, and I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, nah, man. Yeah. Seriously, Myesha, thank you for having me on, though. I like that.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad we were able to have an open and honest conversation about this. And like you said, support is free. There's nothing wrong with support, and there's nothing wrong with helping the next person along. And I think that the way we're going in the movement, and definitely in the entertainment industry, if we continue to push that forward and continue to collab together and continue to still lift our own up while also collabing with other minorities and making even more magic, I think that will help us. And we just have to celebrate ourselves as well, because at the end of the day, these systems weren't created for any of us. So when one of us gets promoted in those systems, great, wonderful. Keep fighting for yourself, keep fighting for your people, keep fighting for representation. And I think that that shouldn't cause well, you didn't, why y'all got more nominations than I got, and things like that. I don't think that that's even something we should even think about, because at the end of the day, we're all fighting this system. So thank you so much for joining me. And for those of you in the comments, thank you so much for making it this far in the video. If you want to add to the discussion, if you want to tell us something else, go ahead down below in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And other than that, thank you so much, y'all, for joining us on MT's Corner with Myesha-Tiara with Let's Talk About It. And as I always say, y'all stay safe out there, and I see you online next time.